Hi everyone, Ed Robertson, hoping you're enjoying the holiday weekend. We are taking a few days off ourselves and we'll be back with a brand new edition of TV Confidential next week. In the meantime, we thought we'd bring you what we'll call a blast from the past, an excerpt from one of our conversations that you may have heard before, but probably haven't heard in a long time. You'll enjoy this clip from a conversation Chuck Harter and I had with Harry Shearer in November 2021, in which Harry talked about the backstory of This Is Spinal Tap, including the pivotal role that Norman Lear played in getting the movie made.
Hi, this is Erica, Vixen, Gavin, coming to you along with Chuck and Ed on TV Confidential. Here we go.
Spinal Tap began on the TV show with Rock and Roll Nightmare, which is a hysterically funny clip with Rob Reiner as Wolfman Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And you were the bass player. Had you played bass prior to that, or were you just a guitarist, or what was that?
No, I've never touched, I touched the guitar once and went, these strings are too small for me. They're going to make my fingers bleed. My first wife was a singer, as is my current wife, and I picked up the bass basically after doing 8 years of classical piano instruction, and I really was tired of reading music, and I wanted to pick up an instrument that, was easier to play than classical piano. And my ear had always gone to the bass line as I was listening to music. I'm chord-oriented, so the bass line always tells you what chord is at the moment going on. And I just like the sonority of the bass. And so I went out and bought like a, very cheap Japanese plywood bass and learned to play it. And my first wife, was friends with the bass player in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So he came over and gave me a few lessons, which was good. And then I just would always practice around the house. And when she did gigs, I'd be her bass player. And that just sort of led me to be the bass player in Spinal Tap.
Beautiful. So you and Chris and Michael got together to make this rockumentary. How did that begin, and working with Rob Reiner?
Well, we were all friends of Rob's. We all knew each other. Rob and I produced this TV pilot that you were referring to. Rob was the executive producer, I was the producer. And so there was a good reason for Spinal Tap to be in that, because it was a parody of everything on television at the time. And so there was this show that used to be on late night Friday on NBC called Midnight Special, which had rock bands on it. And so Rob didn't play an instrument, but he did a mean Wolfman Jack, who was the host of Midnight Special. So that's how we arrayed in that thing. And then we talked about what else we could do with these guys. And we decided to pitch a movie company on writing a script, letting us write a script. They gave us a little money, and we sat down to try to write a script about this band on the road. And after about 2 or 3 days, we looked at each other and said, no one is going to be able to read this and know what the hell we're talking about. Let's go take the money they're paying us and make a demo of it, make a 20-minute demo, and that's what we did.
Right.
So we were all together making a 20-minute piece, which was done in the style of the movie, and which had a lot of the jokes and many, if not most of the songs, little snippets of them in this as a sampler. And we went around, I think all 4 of us together, to all the major studios to show this to them, and they all, when the lights came back up, they all registered the same kind of blank stare. Like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Well, it would be a feature film. Well, rock and roll movies don't make any money, was the literal answer. And so we were 0 for 5 with the major studios. And then, fortunately, Rob had known Norman Lear from his time on All in the Family, the TV series that he was in the 70s. And Norman, at one little particular point in his life became the head of a minor studio called Embassy Pictures, a co-head with a former fight promoter called Jerry Perenchio. And Norman greenlit the movie, otherwise it would never have been made. And Jerry Perenchio disliked the movie so much that he said, Norman was gone by this time, and Jerry said, if the first two critics who see it don't like it, it's never coming out.
Wow.
Wow.
On such thin threads is history made.
It is, and you know, it's funny, Harry, when you all were filming the movie, I was working at the Troubadour as an audio engineer. I knew all the hard rock bands in town, and there was rumors around these comedian guys are shooting some sort of heavy metal comedy. And most of the real bands were all like, dude, that's awesome. You know, they were not thinking it was silly or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so the film got made, and then there was the album, which, by the way, holds up incredibly well, not only as funny songs, but the production, the mixing, the playing, everything on that sounds fresh today.
Thanks.
And who did you three all play on that with a drummer? Was there any guest players, or was it just the band?
It was just the band. The keyboard player was a guy who left before we filmed the movie. We recorded it, of course, before we made the film. But it was Chris, Michael, me, the keyboard player, and the guy who was the drummer in the film, Rick Parnell. And it was a little studio. It was mainly used for recording commercials, but I think we got a deal on it, which we sorely needed given our production budget. Believe me, you cut corners when you have a low budget. Just ask Alec Baldwin.
Oh, my God.
So that was where we recorded, and we all played and sang, on it. There were no ringers on that.
Well, yeah, no, it's fabulous. And Spinal Tap played the Music Machine on Pico in Santa Monica, and I was there, and it was packed. And I believe your wife was on keyboards, and it was great. I mean, the band rocked. It was funny, certainly, but it was just as good as any hard rock bands around.
Well, here's the thing. We never felt that playing music badly was funny. I mean, you have to, that's a whole other thing. And if you do it wrong, it's very easy to play music badly wrong. Where it's just boring and please stop that, rather than entertaining and funny. So the lyrics are the funny stuff, and our behavior, our antics are funny, but we were really serious about making it, halfway decent music. A, because that's fun to play, and B, because it's more enjoyable to listen to than There are a couple of examples in my music library of really, really skilled musicians playing deliberately badly, and it works, and it's funny. But aside from that, it's really hard. It's a hard thing to be entertaining and bad. You just want to turn it off.
And see...
Well, yeah, and that's what I always thought. The band was rocking out real, and like you said, it was the antics or the head shaking or the funny lyrics that really was the comedy.
Yeah, and also one other thing, to make the movie believable, this was a band that had clung by its fingertips to continuing to exist in the rock and roll world for 17 or 18 years by that point. And that has to be halfway decent music to even believe that band could survive, more than a week and a half. So that was another motivation for making it, as I say, halfway decent music.
One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Ed Robertson thanking you for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss our next episode.